Shannon, what were your mom got into some trouble? Is that what I understand?
Yeah, she's a veteran troublemaker. But yeah, she's currently in jail, Facebook jail.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which is really difficult for her. The thing is that she said some mean things about the president
The
and
president of
Shan
this country?
the one, yeah, the
Of the
one that
United
this
States. The president of the
that's
United States of
mhm,
America.
yeah,
My
that one.
president.
My president.
Yes,
Wow.
correct.
How dare she?
She she called him a pinche puto.
She's telling it like it is. You got to respect it.
So somebody reported her, and so she's locked up. What they don't know is that she has a second Facebook account, so she's out there talking trash
Hell
Wow.
on her
yeah.
second Facebook account. I
What
mean, I don't know.
do you think she'll call Trump from this account?
Maybe she'll just try again. I don't know. She likes to call him a lot. I can't even think of something that she calls him
I've
right
heard
now.
him oftentimes described as like a pendejo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What the hell does she calls him? Something with the reference to that orange drink Tang.
An Argentine might call him a pelotudo.
Uh-huh.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the lesson learned here is you gotta
Huevón.
that a web one, yeah.
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 That's like not as like my mom uses a lot more curse words. She swears a lot more. It would be like I can't even. I'm a bad Mexican tonight. My brain is
Dude,
so tired.
speaking of moms, I was talking to mine the other day and she was listening to a show. One of the recent episodes she did, she almost wrote us an email because we made it 28 minutes without saying fuck in one of our episodes and she was paying attention.
Oh my God, really?
That's nice.
Yeah.
My
I
mom
wonder what
says
episode.
my mom asks, or she also talks to me about F words, but she actually means fart. She doesn't like
Doesn't
that's
like all the
one she
fart
doesn't
humor.
like. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Let's
Shit.
maybe, yeah.
That's my wheelhouse.
That's most of Shannon's contribution to the pod. Is fart and poop
Yeah.
jokes.
And wet
And-
asses.
frankly, I wouldn't have it any other way. So sorry, Mom.
All right, well, you guys want to start it up?
Can't wait.
Sure.
Voices, the things they said, voices, some from those dead, all the voices heard. Voices, things we say, voices, they're in your head, all the voices heard.
Hello, everyone. You have Skylar.
And Kempa. Oh, shit, I did it wrong. I mean, and Shannon.
And Kempa.
And no Flo today.
Flo.
No, Flo is taking a whole entire week and a half or something that is extremely well deserved, and we hope that she is having the best vacation possible under the circumstances of a plague.
Yeah.
She recently posted that she is having the worst vacation ever.
I saw that. I was gonna, yeah. Well,
Is it
we'll
related-
still hope for the best.
Yeah,
Is that
totally.
related to all the news or?
I don't remember the whole of it, except that I suspect it has a lot to do with the news. Yeah.
Okay. See, I didn't catch that post, but as everyone knows, there was once more a police killing of an unarmed black man in Minneapolis, and obviously everyone on this show is furious and sad, and the whole range you go through every time this fucking thing happens. But we decided not to cover that this episode until we've got that full house and we've got Flo back. So tune in early next week for more on that.
I also think that pretty much rates its own episode. Yeah,
Totally.
I've been kind of lost in that story pretty much all day today, and am looking forward to being able to talk to you guys about it, because I don't know, I feel pretty fucked up about it. Yeah,
Same.
Yeah, it'll be I was gonna say a good conversation, but it'll be a conversation worth having.
It'll be so good.
Yeah.
All right. So so this week we've got two stories. One of them, we're going to start local, and we're going to start in Shannon's wheelhouse.
Farts?
Yes. So
in fart related news this week.
So in fart related news, Joe Biden shat himself on a video interview. No. We don't need to get into that. No, it's not farts or sharts.
Oh man.
It's actually a lawsuit being brought forward against multiple players in Sacramento City and County because they continue to enforce an anti-camping ordinance that has been deemed unconstitutional. Who wants to dive into that?
I'm gonna give that one to you, Shannon.
I'll take it. I'm dribbling. So Wednesday, Sac Soup and the Sacramento Homeless Union filed a case against it's like a whole bunch of people. Friend of the pod, Darrell Steinberg.
Master of Crows.
Phil Serna is named as he's the chair of the County Board of Supervisors. The Department of Human Assistance. Shit. I meant to write this down.
All right, I've got it in front of me. So you said Darrell, Sacramento Police Chief Daniel Hahn, my yoga buddy.
Right.
Sacramento County Sheriff Scott Jones, Flo's yoga buddy.
Right.
The Sac County Department of Health Services and its officer, Dr. Olivia Cassier.
Yeah. So the whole suit is around the alleged clearing of encampments, which goes against the CDC guidelines, which say that we should not be clearing encampments during the pandemic. And then it also goes against the county's order, which states explicitly that we shouldn't be clearing encampments during the pandemic. Apparently the city has not yet been served so this article was written the 28th. That's today. This morning. No, I'm looking at the wrong. I am fucked up today. What's the date on that article?
That's today. Yes.
Today. Great. I'm good at my job. The city had not yet been served, and so they didn't have a comment on that. So really the only reason that camps should be cleared, in my opinion, is never. But according to the city, it's when they pose a public safety hazard. So like when they're up on the levees or like in like dug out spaces on the levees is one of the examples that was given. And we actually did a whole show on this like way back pre-quarantine where we talked about these like ordinances that were getting written down on paper about when you can actually clear encampments. So
Which and let's recap that a little bit if we want, right?
Yeah.
You know, again, we do know that the Boise case determined that it is unconstitutional on its face to sweep camps when you cannot provide an option for a shelter
Right.
bed in the region.
Right.
What the city and county tend to try to do now are say, well, this is a public safety hazard, right?
Right.
And I don't think that one has been pushed yet in a courtroom. So
Right.
I assume that's a portion of what this one will be about. But at the end of the day, I mean, Shannon, I'm sure you talk with your guests about this, but you know, I know the Sac Soup folks, I know the homeless union folks, and they have footage. They have multiple instances with footage where it is not a public safety hazard. They are not on a levee. It is public land, not private land, and the city and county, you know, rangers, sheriff's department, officers, cops, continue to harass and push people out of the way. So it's, I mean, this just seems to me pretty much straightforward.
Totally. I mean, and the other thing about this case in particular is that the organizing, well, Sac Soup and the Sac Homeless Union were able to get nearly 100 people experiencing homelessness to give signed statements of their experience of their camps being moved around. And I mean, we know this shit happens. Like, I'm on my way home from work, and at least twice a week I see someone from the city or the county, whether it be law enforcement or just like, you know, trucks coming out with social workers, clearing people from any number of places around town. The other thing is that, like, we have Sac PD that goes up to people who are sleeping outside of City Hall and like clears them every Monday morning, right? Or every morning. They're not supposed to be there because they're like, the whole thing is that like they're blocking entry and that it's a public, the building is for public use and people need to have like easy access to it or whatever. And
The vast majority of them are not blocking.
Or not blocking any.
They're not
doorways.
blocking
No.
the door.
No.
I mean, you know, I haven't spent a lot of time at City Hall since the pandemic, but I've spent plenty of time there, and sure, there's people sleeping outside, but they're not like blocking the door by any means. There are clear paths in and out of the building.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, this is inhumane behavior by people whose salary we pay, and
Totally.
You know, it does, I suppose, feel like we're beating a dead horse on this show, but it's like somebody's got to be held responsible,
Right.
and I'm very glad that this lawsuit's coming forward.
Absolutely. Well, especially because in this case, it's against CDC guideline. You know, like the
Right.
CDC has said for the duration of COVID, stop fucking like moving these guys around. It's like, it's dangerous and it prolongs the spread of the virus for pretty obvious reasons, right? Like, so for some reason that just cannot, I don't know what that is about like SAC PD. Like, I don't know why they feel fucking compelled to like bully unhoused folks whenever they can.
Yeah.
And the rangers and the sheriff's officers.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
The CDC guidelines are, I mean, like that is the moral argument and that is a public health argument, and both are 100% fucking correct. But the guidelines, I don't think they're legal. So I just want to clarify that for listeners. Like,
Sure.
it's saying like, hey, for public health purposes, this is what we recommend. And
Right.
it's the fucking CDC and they know what they're talking about.
I think the other thing to note, and I believe it's mentioned in the article in the Bee, is that their folks from the city and the county are using their time to roust encampments, and I was trying so hard not to be distracted by
my hair.
by the hairdressing. Just like a very slow, yep.
I saw Skylar start to laugh, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's at me, isn't it?"
I was trying super hard, but it couldn't go without recognizing. Sorry, listeners, you should probably be watching.
Yeah, sorry, listeners. Most days are weird hair days for me. Today is particularly weird, and it's stressing me out every time I look at myself on the screen.
I think you look great. So what I was gonna say was, and what I will finish saying now is, I think it's important for us to note that there were a number of units, whether it be the trailers or motel units, that were made available for people experiencing homelessness during the pandemic, and many of them are still empty. So we're moving people, fuck that, cops and sheriffs and park rangers and people who are getting paid by taxpayer dollars are moving folks from encampments while units stay empty and available. Like, why the fuck aren't we putting every person that we're moving, that's being moved from their encampment, why isn't that person just immediately being put into I mean, obviously there's choice, and maybe they don't want to for any number of very valid reasons, but I suspect that if every person that was rousted from their camp was asked if they wanted to go into a motel, we'd have significantly less motel rooms open in this community.
Well, and so the precedent set by Boise says, all right, if there's space available, the onus is on law enforcement to offer that space if they're going to roust you. Right. So if they are rousting people, yes, there's space opened, but they still legally can't roust you unless they offer you one of those hotel rooms.
Right.
Was it this article that said that the folks handling those motel units have the ability to get 20 to 25 people per day into motels? Like,
yeah.
Then they're not are they doing that? Do we have any like I guess I have the latest report on how many people are in, but anyway, I think it's you know, if you want to do something, if you're sitting at home listening to this episode and you want to do something, you can kick some shit over at the county board of supervisors and the city council and let them know that they got to get their shit together and either like leave people the fuck alone or
stop hassling people. Stop.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I think it's important that we should offer people shelter, especially during this pandemic. But especially during the pandemic, just leave people the fuck alone. What are you doing? Like,
right. Well, especially because is there like, have they, so like with the reopening stuff, have they reopened City Hall yet? Because I know that there were like a handful of people who are still going to work there, but almost everybody who works there is working from home right now, right? Or like at least up until recently. Do either of you guys know if like they've picked back up with some more of their like normal processes actually at City Hall?
I haven't seen anything.
I haven't either.
One way or the other.
Because I mean, I know they were rousting people when it was like a thing where like there were only like 5 people or whatever going to work in City Hall, and the cops are still coming by and like kicking people, you know, making people move and shit. So it's I mean, you know, I like obviously like officially it's about access to the doors or whatever, but it's I don't know. I don't know. Like I said before, I don't really know what the fucking motivation is into like harassing like especially unhoused folks, you know, needlessly.
Yeah. And like the thing about this too is if this lawsuit goes forward and if the advocates and the people experiencing homelessness win this lawsuit, as they should, and there is, you know, money to pay for it from the city and county, that's our tax dollars. That's the city and county floundering our fucking tax dollars. when those dollars could be going towards actual services towards these folks.
Yeah, and not for the first time. Like this is, they're just setting a precedent that the city and the county fuck up, and then they pay hella money that could otherwise be going to sheltering folks or to getting like supportive services, or permanent supportive housing units could be made available, like any number of things. Fuck it, street nurses. Like there are better ways to spend this money than to have to like band-aid the mistakes of our local law enforcement.
Yeah. Well, also, I think anytime they lose a case like that at when basically it's law enforcement's fault, they should have to fire X amount of cops, and they should have to sell X amount of equipment, like let's say a $10 million fucking tank, or however the fuck that was, much that was,
I think.
$4 million tank. Or I saw a bunch of cops drive by in these really nice new motorcycles the other day during a protest downtown. They don't need this shit.
Right.
I say better yet, take it out of their fucking pension fund, man.
Heard that.
Any time the fucking cops like get sued and lose the city hella money, like all of that money should come. All of that should come from the fucking pension fund for the cops.
In your city, in your municipality, no matter where on earth you're listening to us, over half of your city's funds goes to cops. Goes to these cops that are killing people in the streets and that are harassing our homeless communities
against the guidelines set out by the CDC.
Yeah. And again, we just continue to allow this to happen. I'm like, I guess I'm heartened a little bit that we, got Steve Hansen out of City Hall.
Yes.
But, again, and we'll talk about this in detail early next week, but there's a fight for a seat in the Sac County Board of Supervisors between a guy named Greg Fishman and a guy named Rich Desmond. Rich Desmond is a lifelong fucking cop. And this is a Democrat +6 district. The Democrat should win. Desmond should lose. So, we are in danger of having a lifelong cop join the Board of Soups that is historically leaned right, historically allows Sheriff Jones to do whatever the fuck he wants. And it's really, really humiliating that our most progressive person on that board is Phil Serna.
Right.
Because he's not.
Right.
Like, what is going on at our Board of Supervisors?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I had a thought and I lost it.
I've been there. Like all day long. Ah, shit.
But I mean, is there much else to go over here? It's again, I mean, this seems like a gimme lawsuit. I mean, it's like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They are fucking up.
And yeah, I agree that it seems like a gimme lawsuit. It also feels like, fuck, we have to talk about this shit again. Like,
right.
We're and like you said, right? It's just like beating a dead horse, just like over and over and over again. We come on this show and we like call out the bullshit that is that cops are doing to people experiencing homelessness. Like, it's tired, it's frustrating. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like how many more angry fucks can I yell into this microphone about the way that our community chooses to police in general, but police people experiencing homelessness? Like,
yeah,
it just fucking sucks.
Yeah. The answer to me is, well, first of all, go straight towards that problem and give Dare Bear a fucking earful. Because apparently it's not getting through to him. So they tell them to fucking stop. Tell even though Chief Hahn and we've gotten really adept at our acro yoga together, that doesn't mean that he's not culpable here.
Right.
And, he should get an earful as well. City manager should have an earful because he's the one that fucking hired Chief Hahn.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, I think a very simple one is just defund cops. We have to work hard at defunding them.
Well, I think it's tough, right? Because if you are somebody who like is in charge of the budget or has a hand in it or whatever, and you want to defund the cops, like that's your whole political career. Like the cops have it, and like basically, it's my understanding, like pretty much all over the country, in the way that to challenge the cops about anything is to paint yourself as like, oh, this guy hates law and order, and fucking doesn't like law enforcement and blah 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 blah, and like anything like that really hurts your chances at being able to continue your career.
I would argue that is changing very fast, and I would argue that it's changing fast because of the police violence that we continue to see. I think cops' social capital is at its lowest that I've seen in my lifetime. And now is a great time, especially because our city has no money, to be like, we gotta cut funding, and we know exactly where all the money's going right now. So cut all of that going to these fuckers.
Yeah, agreed. Well, like 100%.
Yeah, and while I say like that it just sucks that we have to keep doing this shit on the show, I'm grateful for the space to do this. And I think that it is important that we continue to, like, as exhausting as it is, like, that's just what this, like, giving a shit about social justice means. You get really tired about saying the same things over and over again, but you just have to keep saying them. So, like, I think it fucking sucks that we have to keep doing it, but I will keep doing it, and I will keep sending letters, and yeah, because I fucking give a shit about people, because we give a shit about people, like we keep bringing it up.
Yeah, I am thankful too that we are an outlet, and again, Voices is probably going to start growing more again, but I'm thankful that this is an outlet where we are decidedly anti-bootlicking, because that's been a real problem of traditional American media over the course of time, right?
Oh, the fucking no, man, yeah, the cops love that shit too, man.
Yeah,
like I mean, that's I think one of the most like aggravating things about the cops is that they do all this awful shit and then walk around like you're welcome, like they're fucking like conquering returning war heroes or some shit.
Yeah,
and it's fucking trash, dude. It's absolute trash. You don't owe the fucking cops anything.
So like our broadcast media always has been propaganda. Our papers treat cops historically as experts or as authorities, and not as stakeholders in these fucking situations. Right. Stakeholders who are liars. They lie to us all the time.
All the time.
Now that we have body cam footage, we see them lying to us all the fucking time. And then in this town, like our most progressive news outlet was still putting a picture of Joseph Manskiller on the cover with the Superman t-shirt.
Oh my God.
So I'm glad we get to have a space to just kind of unapologetically say like, this is fucked.
Totally.
Yeah.
All cops are something. I don't know.
Beautiful.
I don't know how I would put it.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
So
makes me want some Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, L1312 there.
Yeah.
Right, boys and girls.
Well, I think that's a good appetizer for next week. So I'm excited for that, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have gone, honestly, like I said, I've been following the Twitterverse on this whole story all day, and have like my normal kind of like default setting is I fucking hate cops. And after being on
Really?
Twitter
Really?
all day today,
I've never heard that from you before.
I'm like, I have like reached a new level where I don't think I can actually vocalize. Like I can't articulate my thoughts about the police because it's too.
You're
It's
just like
it's fucking too much. I'm like,
speechless with rage.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I can't fucking deal with it. I cannot deal with it.
Yeah, I am. I'm looking forward to having an episode long conversation about what all the cops are
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
So
I gotta say, I really think something is changing. The tenor is changing in our general discourse, and like there will always be bootlicker pieces of shit in our community.
totally.
But the center is shifting on this conversation, and I think it's shifting in the right direction.
Yeah.
Hope you're right, man. I mean, I do believe you're right. I also hope that we're both right, I guess.
Yeah. No, I know you're the more I guess we might say realistic on this show, and I'm a little bit like, oh well, I hope this is I hope this is how things are going, and I hope this is how things will be. And so yeah.
Yeah, I think we are in a space, maybe I find myself in the middle though. I wrap up my thoughts with, I feel like hope is really dangerous right now because it can lead to a space of like just feeling like, yeah, things seem like conversations are changing, so things are getting better, and then you kind of like pull back because you feel like things are getting better, not you all, but like generally, right? Like,
right. But no matter what, no matter how awful it was, like 4 weeks from now, nobody will even remember any of the people's names who are involved in like whatever the incident is that we're really mad about right now. Right.
I definitely, I mean, I find myself a little bit more on the dark side, the Skylar side. Kempa, you're always the one that brings us back to like,
Jeez, guys,
sorry,
thanks.
I'm sorry, Skylar, you're a cynic.
Yeah. Well, hope for me, and maybe it's different for you two and for a lot of people, but hope for me is a driver to action. It feels like, potential momentum, whereas when there is no hope, why are we even fighting?
Right.
Sure.
So for me, it's a big driver, and it gets me up in the morning, and it gets me, doing the shit that I do.
Yeah. No, I think that's true. Hope is certainly a motivation. I think if I lean too far into it, it's dangerous because I just want to stay here now and angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think anger is also a great motivator,
Yeah.
And I don't think those two things, I don't think hope and anger are mutually exclusive. I think it is very, very possible to feel both at the same time and let both of them guide your actions.
They can absolutely work together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone out there is furious and hopeful, and call up Darrell Steinberg and let him know what you think. And if you see a cop on the street, give them a real good scowl.
Real good scowl. Let them know.
Just be like, I know.
Well, we should amend that. If you are one of our listeners who is white,
oh, there you go.
Scowl at the police.
Yeah.
Right.
Use your privilege to make an angry face at the cops when they go by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like it.
Well, should we move on to another really exciting topic?
Speaking of whiteness.
So friend of the show, Mike Madrid, we've covered one of his essays before. What was it? Something he wrote in Cal Matters, right?
Yeah. And it was
that sounds right.
I don't remember what it was about now, but it was really hilarious.
Yeah. No, I think wasn't he like ripping on leftism?
I think
something?
he was
Yeah,
like,
that's what it was.
saying, it was some kind of argument for like how centrism is the only pragmatic path forward for the Democrats or something.
Yeah,
Mm.
which like that was basically him showing the business Dems and his, Lincoln Republicans whole ass that like, yeah, we are the exact same people.
I love the idea that you can be like a conservative against Trump right now. Like what? Like I don't even know. What does that fucking mean? Like that to me is like being like I'm part of a group called the Ku Klux Klan against David Duke. It's like, all right, man. Like I guess that's better than being a Klansman who's for David Duke. Maybe.
I mean, basically, Mike and his ilk are economic, laissez-faire, don't tax anything.
Right. Taxation is theft.
Yeah. But they're also not racist, and they agree on a number of social issues. It's basically like a business Democrat, right?
Right.
Mike was one of the people who started, you might have heard of the Lincoln Project, which is this group of quote unquote Republicans or former Republicans or whatever who are coming together against Trump. And they wrote this, like they did this commercial that made national news about like 3 weeks ago called Morning with America, MOURN.
Oh yeah, that was one of the ones that like all the centrist like libs were passing around and being like, you gotta hand it to them sometimes.
Yeah. Some of these Republicans they're the good guys
they're
too.
All right, guys.
They're the good guys too.
I can't find a thing I disagree with them on, weirdly. Huh.
Don't you guys miss when
I'm not
George
gonna
Bush was the
explore
president?
that personally.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know what I miss? I miss Michelle Obama patting George Bush on his little bushy head.
Giving him like a candy or no, he gave her a candy.
Yeah, I miss the memes and the
That's great.
Just all the special moments.
I miss that, when they could sort of cuddle up together and like have little fun inside jokes, and she could just look a war criminal in the eye and say, you know what, you're my friend,
and then pat him on his
well, I mean, all that shit does, right, is pull the curtain back on the fact that there's like really, when you get right down to the nitty gritty of it, there's like not a whole lot of policy differences in between somebody like Bush and somebody like Obama.
Yeah, particularly internationally.
Exactly.
Obama killed a lot of people.
Yes, he fucking did. Obama also Obama's deportation numbers were like significantly higher than Trump's are, right?
Yes, they were.
Something and all those fucking like cages that they're locking children in until they die. That all gets built under the Obama administration. Trump.
They've been there for a while.
Yeah, they've been there for a while. They certainly weren't using them in the exact same, quite the like this wildly cartoonishly like evil fucking way that Trump is. But
right.
Yeah, they built them, and they had a well-oiled deportation machine long before Trump came in.
Right.
Anyway, Mike Madrid.
Ah, yes.
So we sort of ripped on his last essay with, I believe it was with Cal Matters, but he came back this week in the Bee, and I gotta say he totally redeemed himself in a piece titled "Angry White Crowds Prove That Anti-Health COVID-19 Protests Are Not About the Economy." Does anyone want to dive into that?
I mean, yeah, honestly, okay. If we're talking about somebody who fancies themselves a conservative, like that is a pretty good headline, honestly. I have some respect for that. Because it is obvious, right? Like these things clearly are not about the economy. Like if you go to one or probably rather than actually exposing yourself to it, look at pictures or video of that are being shared with it. But like, yeah, the people at this thing are like this huge hodgepodge mix of like anti-vaxxers, like just super hardcore MAGA people, Proud Boys, 3%ers, like other white supremacist groups. And it's all kind of like couched under this thing that's like, well, if people can't get their hair cut for long enough, the economy will crash and we'll all have to kill ourselves or whatever, but it's obviously not about that. And as he points out, one of the tells is that you're not going to find a whole lot of people of color at these rallies. It's almost entirely white folks. And yeah, I mean, it's not about the economy, and there are a ton of these groups like white supremacist groups like the Proud Boys or 3%ers or whatever that 100% are just using these things as like a recruitment ground. You know?
That's what
they set up fucking tents and like pass out flyers and shit.
Put up their stupid stickers.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. It's like shades of white supremacy, different sort of segments of white supremacy hell, where it starts with like at the extreme end there's like the full-on fucking Nazis that are out there recruiting, and then on the other end it's just like really shitty privileged like Orange County white anti-vaxxers.
A lot of this shit comes from down there, right?
Yeah,
it's a lot from like Orange County and Huntington Beach and like the more like conservative parts of LA,
who have like never been told no before.
Right.
They're petulant kids, basically.
No, totally. And it's like at this like and I think our friend Mike talks about this like willingness to just, I guess it's like audacious, I don't know, to just be like I need my haircut and I need my bar and I need my favorite restaurant and I don't give a fuck who has to risk their life to give me those things, like understanding that it's people of color who are going to do that and they don't give a shit. Like I want my like black and brown neighbors to cook me my food and cut my hair because I want it, because I've always had whatever the fuck I want, and they're willing to risk people's lives for it. Like
100% they are. They don't give a shit.
This is one of those, like, as I was reading it, I just kept as I was reading this article, and then Skylar sent us a Teen Vogue article, which, like, pause for a moment and shout out to Teen Vogue, because
Teen Vogue kicks ass.
They really do. Like, their stuff is great. I just kept thinking over and over in my head, like, and this is not an original thought at all, but that this racism is such a public health issue, and it needs, like, we need to address it as such, and address these fucking assholes who are like the petulant children.
Yeah, this racism as a public health issue. I really wish we had a person on the show.
I know.
Who was an expert in really the confluence of those two issues. But you're just stuck with the three of us.
Yeah.
Maybe we should start looking for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Maybe like next Thursday
Let's see if we can get someone
see.
who's also like an expert in like viruses and epidemiology too. I think that would be a good like 1-2.
Yeah.
Maybe they really like Star Wars. Like that would be cool.
Sure. Someone who's like a public health advocate.
Yeah.
You guys know anyone like that? Shoot us a text. Shoot us an email.
Reach out. Hit us up.
Slide into our DMs.
Instagram.
Okay, so it's one of the more frustrating things for me when I read like, shit like this piece or whatever, is that in concert with the fact that all of a sudden California has like ramped up the reopening thing, like it felt for like a while, right? Like, and I think we complimented him on the show, was Gavin Newsom was really pretty good about being like, we're going to let, the experts and the people who like really have an understanding of how this thing works, we're going to let them tell us when it's safe to open and what to look for. And it seems like in the last couple of weeks, he's just torn up that whole fucking playbook. Like now
Totally.
people like public health experts in the state are going like, whoa, like slow it the fuck down. And we're not. And like, and there's definitely like, I guess it's frustrating to me because I feel like this group of fucking idiots who at the Capitol like kind of is winning right now. He's obviously I think part of this, right? Like Gavin Newsom is somebody who seems to be running for higher office. He seems to be somebody who's got, career aspirations that involve the White House. So I think that's like part of the way that he's handling this. But yeah, watching him capitulate to like this fucking bloviating group of idiots is extremely frustrating, especially as someone who was like, all right, Gav, like I'm not your biggest fan, but you're doing this well,
Mhm.
Right.
Fuck you,
Well,
Gav.
you must, yeah, you ask yourself, you have to ask yourself, is he opening because he thinks it's the right thing to do? Or if, his economic advisors are like, listen, like, this is going to bite you in the ass, if you don't, or if, like, I feel like there could be a number of reasons here, and I don't want to give the Reopen California people the W, but like, I guess technically at the end of the day, they are getting the W.
Yeah, I think they are, and here's why this is frustrating, right? Because it's not like I'm sympathetic to people who like own barbershops or nail salons,
Right.
Like I get it, and it fucking sucks. It is a terrible time, and for like human history in general, this virus is like a major problem for it. But I understand having things that you've worked really hard for kind of like die slowly on the vine in front of you, and that is really awful. But the other side of it is that what happens in states where they just like are like, okay, well, restaurants are open now, is it takes all of the support and all of the safety net out from under the workers, because once the restaurants are like, well, technically you're not unemployed anymore, then they don't have to pay you out unemployment. And so it puts everybody who works in any of these places in the position where either you go and risk getting COVID or passing COVID along to people you love, or you can't pay your rent. You're out on the street. Right. And that is not, it's not okay to put people in that position, especially because we're talking about people who already don't have a whole ton of safety net. There are people who are not in an income class where they're like, have a lot of money. They can set a lot of money aside for emergencies,
Yeah.
And I guess I'm like frustrated about it because I kind of like, I would expect something like this with like a governor, like Kemp in Georgia or whatever, or the fucking dude in Wisconsin, or is that a dude or a woman in Wisconsin? Either way. But it's a bummer to see it coming. It's just a bummer to see it happening in California. And it's a bummer to see people that I personally know and love, like, be put in that position.
Yeah.
Well, some counties have noticed that they have gone too fast. And so, like you said, their public health officials are like, whoa. Hopefully Newsom allows the public health leaders in each county take the reins in their county, because those are the experts, and they're the ones who really should be really where the buck stops. One little point, you were talking about how you have empathy for people who run barbershops, hair salons, and nail salons. I agree, with an asterisk that, let's say you're a nail salon in East Sac, and let's say that I perhaps have gotten a couple of tips that you're still open, and that you're putting your employees at risk for the sake of these rich East Sac people coming in. And let's say that you are publicly saying you're closed, but there's always mysteriously cars outside of your place of business. I don't think we're talking about you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
More on that later.
That's a good asterisk.
Yeah.
The speakeasy salons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Well,
will be
yeah.
interesting. Like, I kind of just don't want to know about that sort of stuff, but I'm also like, there's the other part of me that is like extremely curious to know.
Yeah, I have a similar reaction where it's like I don't want to know about that shit, but if maybe it's somebody I know,
Right, right.
and then I can kick shit their way.
I mean,
Feels
some of
good.
my very, very good friends are barbers, and some of my very, very good friends are like tattoo artists, and I don't want to see this thing go on forever while they suffer. And because of the nature of those kinds of jobs, obviously these are like these guys are contractors, and unemployment is a harder get for people
Mm-hmm.
whose taxes look like that. But yeah, I just like, so personally for me, I'm not going to be eating. I'm not going to be dining out or going to get my hair cut.
Right.
But I do like, I don't know.
My
It's
hair looks
important to
great, so
me.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna.
You're having,
Oh.
your hair is living its best life right now.
Totally, it's so good. Especially because we get so much of the like.
You got like the Dwight Schrute going on today.
It is.
Where's your mustard short sleeve button
It is
up?
Schrute-like.
No, so I just want to say, like, I do, like, for our listeners who are small business owners who are really, really, really suffering right now, like, I'm not without sympathy for how this is going for you and how it's been.
Totally.
I also, if you are going to put your employees in danger so you can make a buck, I'm going to tell you to fuck yourself.
Yes. Yep.
But, I'm not completely without sympathy for the plight of the small business owner in COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, weirdly, I guess we will commend Lincoln Republican Mike Madrid this week.
Yeah, it was a surprising. As I was reading it, I was like, "Huh? Wait, what?" And like the end where he talks about like having to wear a mask to shop at Costco in the middle of a deadly pandemic is not tyranny. Sheltering in place to protect the lives of fellow human beings is not martial law. Binge watching Netflix instead of going to a movie theater is not oppression. The cavalier tossing out of revolutionary terms are reflective of a movement's desperate need to direct anger at something, anything, while diminishing the real struggle and sacrifice. This is getting weird, but struggle and sacrifice previous generations endured to get us to this privileged place. So like maybe that last sentence is like not my favorite, but like where he's like checking that shit where it's like, dude, like wearing a mask is not like, this isn't a liberty fight. Like white people inconvenienced by not being able to have a haircut. This isn't valid. Get out
Well,
of
to
here.
me, it's like you want to get to these people and be like, what do you think about like driving drunk? Like, should we get rid of drunk driving laws? Because that's not really, that law isn't in place just for your safety. And that law is in place so that you don't hurt the people around you, even though you might not mean to, right? It's a very similar premise. But yeah, these guys aren't out here being like, abolish DUIs or whatever, because we've just kind of all decided as a society that like those laws, well, I feel like, those laws are pretty good in general,
These folks, though, the ones out there, they don't want to, they're not willing to like, first of all, everyone's a fucking epidemiologist today. They're not willing to actually listen to the logic and the science. It's part of a culture war, and that's all it is. And it's unfortunate that this is a particular culture war that's going to result in, some 200,000 deaths in our country.
Right.
But
not to mention that these are the same fucking people who do believe that like an armed civil war type conflict is coming in this country. They are all fucking super armed up and believe this thing is happening. Like that, this is a concerning group of people. It's not just like, oh, there's like a different ideology at play and you can't tolerate people with different political ideas. Like these people, these are fucking dangerous people. They believe dangerous shit that's bad for all of us.
Mm-hmm. I will say, I was going around the Capitol yesterday, taking down all of the reopen California stickers that these fucking idiots put up. And
Yeah.
Trump 2020, and then there were a bunch of InfoWars stickers too, which made total fucking sense.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
this is
Jesus
all
Christ.
the same fucking people, man.
Alex Jones goes to these things, like, and
Oh, yeah.
he's like touring the country, going to these things.
Yeah. And I was taking them down, but I left up a couple of them because as a leftist, you can sometimes agree on some things. One sticker that I saw a few iterations of was just, "Hey, Gavin Newsom, fuck you."
Dude, hell
And
yeah.
I was like, yeah, all right.
All right.
Yeah,
I can get behind that.
yeah, fuck him.
Yeah,
like a-
you know what? Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah. No, you're insane, and but like, yeah, fuck Gavin too. There was another one that was like, there's another one. I wish I didn't spend much time on it. I just read and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely leaving that up too. It says something to the tune of like, did you know that the blue whale's anus can stretch to be 2 meters wide? And it's the second largest asshole on Earth behind.
I love it.
And I was like, all right, I'm leaving that one too. Okay.
I love it. I think I've told you this before when we were just chatting, but like, if I'm ever in situations where I'm like, working around coworkers who I know are like right wingers, or like in a situation where I'm around right wingers and I don't want to, go to war with them because I'm just trying to get through my work day or whatever. The number one thing I always bring up with people is like, it's like, if you want to talk politics with a right winger and you're a leftist, just be like, hey man, Nancy Pelosi sucks, huh? And yeah, I mean, that's it, man. You can both go for like an hour of conversation where you agree on everything. Just based on that premise.
Hey man,
I love it.
That's great.
I mean, I think we're getting to a place where like most older libs still don't get that like there are people to the left of them. I think like they
Sure.
still think that I'm a Russian bot or
Right,
like
sure.
But like people are starting to get the language around like, oh, okay, so there are socialists and communists and anarchists, and progressives sort of toe the line between Democrat and leftist. And people are starting to understand those lines a little bit better these days. I'm a part of a Facebook group that's like called like, I forget what it's called, but it's basically some leftists started it when they were like hoping to get Bernie into the White House. And it weirdly, even though it has like leftist and Marxist and socialist in its description and in its name, it got like a zillion boomers to join. Like full on like neolib boomers. And there has been a fucking flame war of people ripping on Biden from the left, young people, and then old people being like, blue no matter who. And it has been just a joy and a privilege to be a part of. I've had so much fun that finally the guy who created the group was like, dude, would you like to be a moderator? You are. This has just been really fun to fight alongside you on this.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Get up there.
So yeah, I think people are starting to get that, even though most people in that group still think I'm a bot.
Yeah. The boomers are a hard one, man, but they're not unbudgeable. They'll do it. They'll come around.
We can budge 'em.
My mom's in
budge 'em.
my mom's in DSA. But the other day, and this will bring us back to Mike in a second. The other day I was talking to her about the Abraham Lincoln Brigade in the Spanish Civil War. And this was like 3,000 basically like communist Americans during the Spanish Civil War basically like snuck into Barcelona to fight the fascists. because the U.S. refused to take a stand against Franco, against the fascists, because they're capitalist pigs and they didn't want to be associated with leftism. And so these great people went over and like fought in this war. And so I'm like talking to my mom on the phone. I'm like, do you know the Abraham Lincoln Brigade archives? And she's like, yeah, I know them. She's like, they did that commercial against Trump. It's those Republicans.
Yes.
I'm like, no, Mom, that's
no, different people.
That's Mike Madrid and his friends. And
I love that.
they're
I love
basically
that.
Hillary Democrats. So
Yes, I love that conversation.
mhm.
Well, Dave,
Oh, here we go.
I actually, you know what? Both of you guys, I have something that I've been meaning to tell you guys. I am a furloughed worker, so
Oh my
I'm
God.
not working right now.
Are you doing all right with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be okay. I'm in a pretty lucky position, and
Okay.
I think I'm gonna,
'Cause
I'm doing good for now.
I'm looking behind you, and it looks like you've been buying a lot of equipment. I just hope it's not stress buying.
No, that's pay no attention to all that stuff. It's not.
Okay.
No.
Don't worry about that.
In between frequent trips to eBay and sites like Reverb, I have been, stimulating my brain with a lot of this great content, like this great podcast and some other stuff by Voices River City, but I'm starting to run out. And so I guess this whole thing really was just sort of a roundabout way for me to ask you, Dave, where would I go to get more of this fantastic content?
Yeah. So first of all, I empathize, and I'm so glad you feel that you can share with us. And I'm so sorry that your couch appears to have turned into a drum set.
It's tough, man.
Yeah,
I had to sell the couch.
No one wants to sit on a hi-hat,
Oh, they don't.
I don't know.
Some people do. Okay. Listen, I'm not gonna.
Don't yuck anyone's yum, man.
I will
You don't know what they
don't
want to be
yuck.
doing with the hi-hat.
If I
Don't
learned
yuck the hi-hat,
anything
yum.
from Voices River City sex columnist Kenna Cook, it's not to yuck anyone's yum. But yeah, we have had over our 3 years some really interesting content there, including Kenna's sex column. We've done a lot of great news, a lot of great community commentary, arguments sort of laying out why housing should be viewed as a human right, conversations that no other local outlet has been doing. And we're very proud of that at Voices, and we plan to continue to just keep doing more and more of that. So we're at voicesrivercity.com. You can find us on social media: Facebook, Voices River City; Twitter, at Voices River City; Instagram, Skylar is killing it, at Voices River City. And then we are on YouTube. If you want to see my Dwight Schrute look this week,
Yeah, and you want to.
Yeah.
you might.
It is a thing. So if you just usually listen to the show, there are the YouTube video is much more unedited, because now that we're doing this on Zoom, there's a certain amount of like physical humor that doesn't work on the podcast, but I leave it in on the YouTube ones because it can sometimes be kind of funny. So if you want sort of a raw, less filtered version of Voices River City, the YouTube channel is a pretty good bet for that usually.
Yeah, we haven't talked that up much at the end of the show, but it really is its own experience, and it's kind of funny and fun. I especially love watching it after I've already listened to a crisp episode and getting to see some of the weird things that it's like, oh, I forgot we did that. I forgot I fucked up in XYZ way. And like, you know, friends tell me that they will just like watch it while they're doing dishes or something, because we're all going a little insane and it's nice to see a familiar face. So
Absolutely.
we are on there. We're on Patreon
Just
no, not
type that
at.
in.
We are patreon.com/Voices River City. And you can pledge anything between $5 a month, which is a beer at the bar you're not going to right now, up to, you can do $25 a month, which will land a mug and a t-shirt in the mail and for you. And by the way, Sarah, I know that you upgraded and you're going to get that soon. So thank you for that. And anyone who's already a listener and already giving some money can upgrade to 25 and we'll send you that as well. And yeah, I guess those are all the places we are. We are on Twitter. I am at Shan ND Stevens.
I'm at, oh wait, no, you go.
I'm at guillotine, the number 4 U.
I am, Kimpa.
And Flo Jean is at, I was going to try and say Flo Jean backwards, but I decided not to try. She's just at Flo Jean.
Yeah. That's
So when she's back-
FLOJAUNE.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's us.
Yeah. Wow. We'll see you. We'll see you, Flo, on Monday night, and we will see the rest of you on Tuesday morning.
And there is a lot of exciting stuff coming up. It is fucking election season, and Voices is going to go hard. So we're excited to share some really cool stuff with you.
We're gonna go ham.
Ham.
We're going ham.
We're going to have Steve-O the Handman on with us.
Yeah, the hand man.
Yeah.
Think you'd come on?
No, hell no.
Oh, come on,
He's been-
hand
Come
man.
He
on.
spent 3 years derisively calling this Kempa's blog. So I'm not sure. But he can call it that from his couch now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Piece of shit. All right.
Oh,
Hey.
ew.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening again. And we love you. Stay happy.
Stay healthy.
Stay sane.
And
And
stay away.
Stay away from me.
Or at home.
Don't come near
Yeah,
me.
whatever.
Especially you, be brave cold robot.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Who
yeah.
does
Dean.
our music.
Hey Dean, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. It's so dirty.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.